Every year we're flooded with blockbuster games that dominate the headlines and capture our attention. But for every
Extra big ass
release, there's a hidden gem, a game that quietly arrives, offering something truly special, only to be overlooked by the masses. I've journeyed back through the last 15 years to shine a spotlight on one hidden gem for each year. These are the games that didn't get the recognition they deserved at launch, but are absolutely worth revisiting now. I've left links to any full reviews just below the like button, but for now, let's dive in. Starting all the way back in 2010 with a post-apocalyptic action-adventure game loosely inspired by Journey to the West. With Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. Developed by Ninja Theory, Enslaved masterfully combines stunning visuals, compelling characters, and emotionally rich storytelling. It's aged incredibly well, feeling just as fresh today as it did years ago. Instead of the usual grim, desolate landscapes, the world here is lush and vibrant, with nature reclaiming the ruins of human civilization. The overgrown cities and colorful environments create a striking backdrop that sets the game apart from the drab tones we're used to seeing in post-apocalyptic stories. But what truly makes Enslaved special is its narrative. Before Black Myth Wukong adapted the Chinese classic Journey to the West. Well, probably. But so did Enslaved, reimagining the tale with a futuristic twist, blending ancient inspiration with a sci-fi setting. The story follows Monkey, a lone warrior, and Trip, a resourceful young woman who forces Monkey to help her survive by enslaving him with a headband that punishes disobedience. Their uneasy partnership evolves into a deeply emotional bond as they navigate a world overrun by hostile robots. The performances of Andy Serkis as Monkey and Lindsay Shaw as Trip are strikingly nuanced and bring the characters to life.
The signal. You get back, okay?
No, I can't.
Do as I say.
It's this emotional depth that keeps you invested in their journey, from beginning to end. But Enslaved isn't just about the story. The gameplay is equally satisfying. It's a blend of fast-paced combat, platforming, and puzzle solving, keeping things fresh throughout. Whether you're taking down mechanical enemies with Monkey's staff or scaling massive structures in search of a path forward, the gameplay is always a freaking blast. Beneath all of the action, Enslaved explores themes of connection and humanity. It's a story about trust and survival, with moments that make you reflect on what it means to be human in a world dominated by machines. It's no surprise Enslaved was overlooked at launch, competing with juggernauts like Red Dead Redemption and Call of Duty Black Ops. But now, more than 15 years later, it's the perfect time to revisit this underrated masterpiece.
If we're gonna get through this, then when I ask you to do something, you need to do it immediately.
Okay. I understand.
Sometimes a game comes along that is so batshit crazy and unconventional, it just sticks with you. Shadows of the Damned is one of those games, a hidden gem from 2011 that blends grindhouse horror, surreal visuals, and Suda51's insane humor into an over-the-top experience. The story's about as wild as it gets. You play as Garcia Hotspur, a demon hunter who ventures into the underworld to save his kidnapped girlfriend, Paula. But this isn't your typical rescue mission. The narrative is drenched in grindhouse flair, packed with absurd dialogue, dark humor, and insane plot twists.
Like what you see?
Que magnifico.
It's part love story, part fever dream, and completely nuts. The gameplay is just as creative. At its core, it's a third-person shooter, but with some twists. You wield demonically inspired weapons, like the perfectly titled Boner, which evolves into even more powerful forms. Darkness plays a key role in the gameplay. You'll need to shoot light sources to dispel the dark zones that weaken Garcia, adding an interesting puzzle element throughout. The underworld itself is like nothing you've seen before. It's a surreal, grotesque nightmare full of disturbing imagery and bizarre environments. This isn't your typical fire and brimstone hell. This is a twisted playground brought to life by none other than Suda51 and Shinji Mikami. And then there's the cast. Garcia is a brash, witty protagonist who oozes charisma, and his partner Johnson, a talking, shape-shifting skull that doubles as your weapon, is equally entertaining. Their banter keeps the tone light, even when the game dives into its darker moments. The atmosphere is elevated by an incredible soundtrack from Akira Yamaoka, the composer behind Silent Hill. Yeah, this is a full-on dream team of talent. His music perfectly balances eerie, atmospheric tracks with intense, pulse-pounding beats, making the underworld feel as haunting as it is chaotic. Sadly, Shadows of the Damned didn't get the attention it deserved when it launched. Despite its all-star creative team, it was overshadowed by bigger franchises and released with little marketing. A remaster was recently released, and while the updates were very minimal, it finally made this game playable on modern hardware. If you're looking for something weird, wild, and unlike anything else, Shadows of the Damned is an unapologetically unique gem that you need in your life.
Oh, fudge! What am I talking about? This is what caused those tremors! It's a melody of death! Oh my god! Oh my god, 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 god.
Why should I be afraid of a few puny earthquakes? What the hell?
One year later, we got an unforgettable open world game, packed with heart, action, and personality all its own, with Sleeping Dogs, that a lot of people forgot about. Unfairly assumed to be just another GTA clone, what we got was an experience that's wholly unique. Unlike so many open-world games set in familiar Western cities, Sleeping Dogs transports you to the neon-lit markets, bustling crowds, and intricate alleyways of modern-day Hong Kong, steeped in rich cultural authenticity. From Cantonese dialogue to local traditions, you're immersed in a world that feels fresh. But it's not just about the setting. It's a gritty, emotional story about Wei Shen, an undercover cop trying to bring down the triads from the inside. The narrative's tension lies in Wei's struggle to balance his loyalty to the police with the bonds he forms in the criminal underworld. Themes of loyalty, betrayal, and identity create a morally complex and deeply engaging story, punctuated by brilliant gameplay. Its hand-to-hand martial arts combat system is fluid, brutal, and immensely satisfying. Environmental takedowns like slamming enemies into fish tanks or tossing them into dumpsters are so freaking brutal, and that's not to mention the high-speed car chases, shootouts, parkour-inspired movement, and even karaoke to keep the experience unpredictable. Elevating the game further is its connection to its characters. Wei Shen is a conflicted, deeply human protagonist, and the people around him, both allies and enemies, are just as memorable. Their relationships and their interactions give the game emotional weight, making you care about what happens next. Despite its critical acclaim, Sleeping Dogs struggled commercially. It was released during a competitive time, overshadowed by bigger franchises, and didn't get the attention it deserved. But if you've played it, you know it's something special. A game bursting with creativity, heart, and personality, and one I'd love to get a sequel to. It's a game that deserves to be rediscovered, and trust me, it's one you won't forget. Okay, close your eyes and imagine a future where memories can be digitized, traded, or even stolen. A world where your most personal thoughts are no longer safe inside your head. That's the concept behind Remember Me from 2013, an action-adventure game that flew under the radar, but remains an incredibly unique experience. Set in the vibrant yet dystopian city of Neo Paris in 2084, you play as Nylin, a memory hunter with the ability to manipulate people's memories. Her journey to recover her own stolen past takes you through a gripping story, filled with twists, moral dilemmas, and a fascinating critique of corporate control and surveillance. The memory remixing mechanic allows you to dive into someone's mind and alter key memories to change their perception of reality. These sequences are not only innovative, but also incredibly rewarding, blending storytelling and gameplay in a way that doesn't feel like any other game. And then there's Nylin herself, a strong, capable, and deeply complex character. She's the heart of the game, bringing emotional depth to the story. Her journey of self-discovery makes her one of the most memorable characters of her time, in an era when distinct leads were still pretty rare. And the setting of Neo Paris is a breathtaking blend of sleek cyberpunk aesthetics and European architecture. The city feels alive with every corner telling its own story. Paired with the game's customizable Combo Lab combat system, which lets you design your own fighting style, it's so creative and engaging. But what truly sets this game apart are its themes. It explores the consequences of a world where technology commodifies humanity's most personal aspects, our memories. It's a thought-provoking narrative that feels way more relevant and likely today as we grapple with issues of privacy and technological overreach. Unfortunately for Remember Me, it came out in 2013, alongside some barely known games like The Last of Us and GTA 5. You ever heard of them? Yeah, so it didn't exactly have a shot to capture the spotlight. But for those willing to revisit it, Remember Me offers a one-of-a-kind adventure that's as visually stunning as it is thought-provoking. Moving on to the Banner Saga. Released in 2014 by Stoic Studio, this tactical RPG blends Norse mythology, incredible artwork, and emotional storytelling into an unforgettable experience that more people need to discover. Right off the bat, the hand-drawn visuals are simply breathtaking. Inspired by classic animated films like Sleeping Beauty, every frame looks like a living illustration. From the sprawling, frozen landscapes to the intricately designed characters, the Banner Saga creates a world that feels both harsh and beautiful. But it's not just a pretty face, the story is just as captivating. Set in a world where the sun has stopped moving and a relentless force called the Dredge threatens humanity, the game follows two caravans struggling to survive. The moral depth really sets the Banner Saga apart. Your decisions shape the lives of the characters and the course of the story. Sacrifices have weight, and tough choices lead to real consequences, ones you'll feel long after they're made. And the gameplay is just as compelling. Battles are turn-based, but success demands careful strategy. You'll need to manage your party's unique abilities, balance risk and reward, and think several steps ahead. And outside of combat, you'll guide your caravan through dangerous territory, managing resources, morale, and relationships. Every decision feels meaningful, adding layers of tension to your journey. The characters are another standout. Each one has their own motivations and struggles, from noble warriors to conflicted leaders. When you lose a character, whether in battle or through your decisions, it's heartbreaking, and it adds emotional weight to the story. And let's not forget the haunting soundtrack by Austin Wintory, the composer of Journey. The music perfectly complements the somber tone, pulling you even deeper into its world. Despite its brilliance, the Banner Saga is not well known, flying under the radar for many people. And for those who've experienced it, it's an unforgettable journey, a blend of art, strategy, and storytelling that few games can match. If you're a fan of deep, thought-provoking narratives and challenging gameplay, the Banner Saga is a must-play. You're sitting in front of an old computer, sifting through hours of footage, trying to uncover the truth behind a mysterious disappearance. That's the experience of Her Story, a 2015 indie game that redefined how stories can be told in gaming. It's a total hidden gem that delivers an unforgettable narrative experience like no other. In Her Story, you take on the role of an investigator with access to a police database of video clips. Your goal is to piece together the story of Hannah, a woman interviewed about a missing man. The gameplay is simple, but incredibly engaging. You search for keywords, watch clips, and take notes, trying to connect the dots. In many ways, this is a true evolution of those old FMV games in such a thoughtful and creative way. What sets the game apart is its non-linear storytelling. The order in which you discover the story depends entirely on the keywords you choose, making everyone's experience unique. The narrative is masterfully crafted, filled with twists, subtle clues, and layers of ambiguity, played brilliantly by Viva Sievert. Hannah's fragmented interviews hint at something much darker beneath the surface. But here's the catch: there's no clear answer. Her story trusts you to interpret the events and come to your own conclusions, making it an intensely personal and thought-provoking experience. There's no combat, no flashy visuals, just you, a search bar, and the intoxication of discovery. It's intimate, immersive, and makes you feel like a real detective. The game's stripped-down approach shifts all the focus onto the narrative, creating an experience that's hauntingly memorable. While her story won tons of awards, including a BAFTA for game innovation, its unconventional gameplay kept it under the radar for many. But if you've played it, you know it's a testament to how far games can push storytelling boundaries. If you love mystery, narrative-driven games, or just want to try something completely different, Her Story is a game you absolutely need to experience, proving sometimes the simplest ideas create the most unforgettable moments. Moving on to 2016 with Exist Archive: The Other Side of the Sky, a JRPG that combines the nostalgic charm of classics like Valkyrie Profile with fresh, innovative mechanics to create something truly special, a hidden gem that deserves way more attention than it got. Developed by Tri-Ace, the same studio behind Valkyrie Profile, Exist Archive feels like a spiritual successor. From its side-scrolling exploration to its tactical, fast-paced combat, the game captures the essence of what made its predecessor so significant, while bringing it to a modern audience. The combat system is a total standout. Each character in your party is mapped to a button, and their attacks are executed in real time based on timing and coordination. It's strategic, dynamic, and incredibly satisfying when you pull off the perfect combo. Couple that with deep customization for abilities and equipment, and you have a battle system that rewards experimentation and planning. The story's equally gripping, as you follow 12 protagonists, all of whom find themselves trapped in a mysterious otherworldly realm after their deaths. As you unravel the mysteries of this strange world, the game dives into themes of mortality, identity, and redemption. Each character has their own story, adding a lot of layers to the overarching narrative. Oh, and the visuals, well, just take a look. Its vibrant art style, beautifully designed environments, and atmospheric soundtrack suck you into an experience you won't soon forget. It's a world you'll want to get lost in, even as you face the challenges of its gameplay. Unfortunately, Exist Archive's worldwide release was in 2016, a year dominated by massive RPGs like Persona 5 and Final Fantasy 15. With limited marketing and exclusivity to the PS4 and Vita, it simply flew under the radar. But for those who discover it, Exist Archive offers a rare blend of nostalgia and innovation. Next up is 2017 with Observer by Bloober Team. Everyone seems surprised by their incredible remake of Silent Hill 2, but if you go back through their catalog, they've been putting out quality titles for years. The world of Observer blends cyberpunk noir with psychological horror, where the line between humans and machines are blurred, and even your thoughts and memories aren't safe from prying eyes. Set in a dystopian Krakow in the year 2084. Same year as Remember Me. Makes me wonder if there's something going on there. You play as Detective Daniel Lazarski, an observer who can hack into people's minds, even after their deaths, to solve crimes. Using a device called the Dream Eater, you dive into twisted, surreal dreamscapes, filled with fragmented memories, fears, and emotions in sequences that are equal parts unsettling and mesmerizing. The atmosphere is unlike any other game. The decaying tenement building you explore is dripping with personality, every corner telling its own story of a society crumbling under the weight of corporate control and technological overreach. The visual design, drenched in neon lights and eerie shadows, paired with the haunting sound design, create a sense of unease that stays with you. But it's the themes that set Observer apart. It delves deep into questions of identity, humanity, and the dangers of technology. In a world where cybernetic enhancements are the norm and memories can be hacked or stolen, what does it even mean to be human anymore? These thought-provoking ideas make the narrative hit harder, and the late Rutger Hauer's performance as Lazarski brings gravitas to the story, grounding the surreal in a deeply human experience. A remaster released in 2021 elevated the overall experience with updated gameplay, new side cases, and visuals that are consistently impressive. Despite its originality and critical praise, Observer was overlooked when it was released in 2017, but you should absolutely take the time to explore this hauntingly beautiful journey through a cyberpunk nightmare. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, not enough games have good couch co-op. But Hazelight Studios, the team behind the excellent It Takes Two, have been trying to right this wrong, starting with A Way Out. You've never played a game like this, combining bold storytelling with innovative gameplay mechanics that demands collaboration. Now this isn't just some multiplayer mode hot glued to an otherwise single-player game. No, A Way Out requires 2 players. Now you can play this online, but there's nothing like playing together in the same room. And this game is designed from the ground up around working together. From sneaking through tight spots to executing synchronized takedowns, you and your partner are constantly relying on each other. And the dynamic split screen mechanic makes it so immersive. Sometimes one player is sneaking through an area while the other handles dialogue in a completely different scene, giving both of you unique perspectives on the story. And what a story it is! You play as Vincent and Leo, 2 prisoners with very different personalities who must team up to escape from prison, finding, a way out.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
Along the way, the game explores themes of trust, betrayal, and redemption, all while delivering emotional moments that hit harder because you've shared them with someone else. The gameplay keeps things fresh too. One moment you're sneaking through enemy territory, the next you're in a high-speed chase or playing one of a dozen different minigames like darts or arm wrestling. It's a constant mix of action, puzzles, and exploration that ensures neither player is ever bored. One thing that's really cool, and I wish more games did this, if you're playing online, only one of you needs to own the game. Yeah, thanks to the Friends Pass system, you can invite someone to play for free, making it one of the most accessible co-op games out there. Yet despite its innovation and critical acclaim, not many people have played A Way Out. Maybe it was the mandatory co-op requirement or its niche appeal, but if you've played it, you know how awesome it is. If you're looking for a game that truly captures the magic of shared experiences, A Way Out is one you shouldn't miss.
Get him! Run!
Relax, man, I got this.
Okay, moving on to Outer Wilds, a game far too many people missed in 2019. It may have something to do with Obsidian's far bigger and nearly identically titled Outer Worlds that launched the same year, but these games couldn't be more different. The game places you in a handcrafted solar system with no handholding, no quest markers, and no clear objectives. And while that might sound like a confusing mess, the game's design is so brilliant that you'll realize it's not about following a path, it's about carving your own. Your mission is simple: uncover the secrets of the universe. The entire narrative unfolds organically through exploration. You piece together the story by finding environmental clues, reading ancient texts, and deciphering the remnants of a lost civilization. At the heart of Outer Wilds is its 22-minute time loop. The solar system resets every time the sun goes supernova, forcing you to work against the clock. But here's the genius part. Every piece of knowledge you uncover stays with you. This turns the time loop into a puzzle in itself, creating a building sense of urgency and discovery. Each celestial body in the game's solar system is like a character of its own, from the collapsing cavern of Brittle Hollow to the stormy seas of Giant's Deep. Every location feels alive, unique, and packed with secrets. The thrill of discovery is nearly unparalleled, as you never know what strange phenomenon or ancient relic you'll encounter next. The game explores profound themes like the fragility of existence, the passage of time, and humanity's endless curiosity. It's not just about solving a mystery, it's about reflecting on the nature of life itself. Despite its numerous awards, Outer Wilds remains criminally underappreciated. Maybe it's because it lacks combat or flashy action, but for those who've taken the plunge, it's a transformative experience, one that sticks with you long after the credits roll. Sometimes a game flies under the radar despite having all the ingredients of a classic. This is exactly what happened with Trials of Mana, a hidden gem in the world of RPGs. Originally released in 1995 as Seiken Densetsu 3 in Japan, this ambitious action RPG never made its way to global audiences, at least not until decades later. But now, with both the original localized in the Collection of Mana and a stunning 2020 remake, Trials of Mana has a second chance to shine. What makes this game so special is its unique approach to storytelling. You start by choosing 3 out of 6 protagonists, and that decision shapes the narrative. Each character has their own backstory and motivations, making every playthrough feel fresh and personalized. This branching system was groundbreaking in the 90s, and it still holds up today. And then there's the class system. As your characters level up, you'll guide them through class changes, choosing between light and dark paths that unlock different abilities and spells. This adds a layer of strategy and customization, letting you tailor your party to fit your playstyle. The 2020 remake takes everything great about the original and elevates it. The visuals have been reimagined in stunning 3D. The combat is now fluid and action-packed, and modern touches like voice acting and quality of life improvements elevates the game to other great JRPGs from the era.
You say a fairy's gonna help us get inside? Oh, you must mean the light from the forest. I am so glad she's your problem and not mine.
Yet, it stays true to the spirit of the original, keeping its charm and vibrant world intact. Speaking of its world, Trials of Mana is freaking gorgeous. From lush forests to bustling towns and epic dungeons, every area feels alive and magical. The soundtrack by Hiroki Kikuta is equally enchanting, immersing you further in its rich fantasy setting. Despite its legacy and the effort put into its remake, Trials of Mana remains shockingly unknown. It's often overshadowed by bigger RPG franchises. But if you're a fan of classic JRPGs, or just looking for an endlessly fun game with heart, it's absolutely worth checking out. Sometimes the most haunting stories come from the most unexpected places, and Mundaun from 2021 is the perfect example. This indie horror game transports you to the eerie, snow-covered peaks of the Swiss Alps. But what makes it so special isn't just its scares, it's how every inch of this game feels like a labor of love. The first thing you'll notice about Mundaun is its one-of-a-kind visual style. Every texture in the game is hand-drawn with pencil, giving it a raw, sketchbook aesthetic that's both beautiful and deeply unsettling. It's as if you've stepped into a nightmare that someone painstakingly sketched into existence. And this isn't just some gimmick either. It's integral to the disturbing atmosphere, making every shadow and flicker of light feel that much more ominous. The story follows Curtin, who returns to the remote village of Mundaun after the mysterious death of his grandfather. As you explore the winding paths and crumbling buildings, you uncover a chilling tale of curses, demons, and dark rituals, all rooted in Swiss folklore. This isn't the kind of horror that relies on jump scares. Instead, Mundaun builds tension through its oppressive atmosphere, eerie sound design, and the feeling of isolation that comes with being stranded in the mountains. This game isn't just about soaking in the atmosphere, it keeps you engaged with clever puzzles and survival mechanics. Whether you're solving intricate challenges, managing limited resources, or cautiously avoiding hostile enemies, Mundaun strikes a perfect balance between exploration and tension. And what's insane is that it was created almost entirely by one dude, Michael Ziegler. From the hand-drawn visuals to the richly woven narrative, every detail reflects his passion for storytelling and his deep love for Swiss culture. It's a rare and personal touch that makes Mundaun feel truly special. Unfortunately, Mundaun was overlooked by the recent wave of bigger budget horror games in the past few years. But if you're willing to give it a chance, it's an unforgettable experience. A slow burning descent into the darker side of folklore and human nature. Every so often, a game comes along that captures the magic of classic adventures while feeling entirely fresh. Tunic is one of those rare gems. Released in 2022, this indie action-adventure game is a masterclass in blending nostalgia, mystery, and innovation. At first glance, Tunic feels like a love letter to classic Zelda games. Its charming isometric view, lush overworld, and adorable fox protagonist donning a green tunic immediately evoke the feeling of exploring a forgotten 16-bit era. But this isn't just a retro homage. It's a game that builds on that foundation with modern ideas and clever twists. The world of Tunic is steeped in mystery. You're dropped into an enigmatic land with little guidance, and even the game's text is written in a cryptic fictional language. The story unfolds through exploration and discovery, creating a deep sense of curiosity. As you explore, you'll piece together the narrative and uncover the secrets of this beautifully crafted world. One of Tunic's most unique features is its in-game instruction manual. As you progress, you'll collect pages of a booklet that look like it came straight out of my childhood. These pages reveal mechanics, maps, and lore, but not all at once. You'll need to interpret them carefully, making each discovery feel like a personal breakthrough. And don't let the game's
very demure, very mindful
art style fool you. Tunic is tough as nails. Drawing inspiration from Dark Souls with its precise dodging, stamina management, and intense boss battles. Each victory feels earned, making progression that much more rewarding. On top of its challenging gameplay, Tunic is a feast for the senses. The blocky, vibrant art style creates a dreamlike world, while the hauntingly beautiful soundtrack by Lifeformed in Janice Kwan adds wonder and mystery to every moment. Despite its critical acclaim, Tunic hasn't quite reached the same mainstream popularity as some other indie hits, likely due to its cryptic nature and surprising difficulty. If you like deeply rewarding exploration, challenging gameplay, and unraveling mysteries, Tunic is a must-play. Sometimes a game dares to blend genres in a way that feels completely unexpected, and Eternights is a perfect example. Released in 2023, this indie action RPG from Studio Sai is a mix of intense real-time combat with heartfelt storytelling and even a dating sim mechanic. It's an ambitious mix that delivers a fresh and deeply personal experience, making it a true hidden gem. At its core, Eternights is about surviving the apocalypse. But while most post-apocalyptic stories focus on despair, Eternights chooses to emphasize hope, love, and finding meaning in the chaos. Yeah, you'll be fighting mutated enemies in fast-paced, adrenaline-fueled battles. But the real heart of the game lies in the connections you build along the way. Each character you meet has their own struggles and arcs, and your choices will shape their journeys. It's this emotional storytelling that keeps you invested, not just in the world's fate, but in the lives of the people around you. Between combat missions, you'll spend time with your companions, forging bonds that can unlock new abilities and even influence the game's outcome. It's a perfect balance of action and emotional depth. One of the most interesting mechanics is its time management system, inspired by games like Persona. You'll need to decide how you spend your limited time. Do you explore dungeons for resources, train to become stronger, or spend an evening deepening your relationship with a companion? And each decision feels meaningful. I love the look of this game. Visually, it's stunning, with its vibrant anime-inspired art style bringing both the world and its characters to life. The game's soundtrack is equally impressive, shifting seamlessly between upbeat combat themes and emotional melodies that amplify its more intimate moments. And perhaps the most remarkable thing about Eternights is that it was created by a super small indie team. It's a passion project that punches well above its weight, offering a bold, unconventional, and heartfelt experience that's shockingly overlooked. Last on the list is our newest hidden gem with 2024's Crow Country, which is ironic considering it looks like it's the oldest. And that's no mistake. Crow Country, developed by SFB Games, is an absolute love letter to the golden era of survival horror from the 90s and early 2000s, with puzzle solving, exploration, combat, and a mystery that drives you forward. Set in the year 1990, you play as Mara Forrest, a special agent investigating Crow Country, an abandoned amusement park whose founder has mysteriously disappeared. Despite its throwback look, Crow Country's atmosphere is surprisingly thick, with torrential rain, gruesome environmental storytelling, and dreamlike encounters. Even with its throwback feel, Crow Country isn't a straight copy and paste of its predecessors, like in how resources work. In other games, like Resident Evil, a lot of the tension came in limiting resources, where you knew you had to make every shot count. And that design has been a staple in tons of games like Dead Space and even The Last of Us. While Crow Country seems similar at first, like having you search crow-shaped wastebaskets for supplies, it makes a subtle but important change. These are renewable, allowing you to find supplies in them more than once, but they won't let you overstock. So if you already have a full clip, you won't get any more ammo. This allows the game to subtly and continuously tune the difficulty. That, coupled with the excellent puzzles, fun and challenging combat system, and you have something that not only harkens back to the good old days of survival horror, but makes changes both big and small that keep the formula fresh and thoroughly fun to play. Even with its old school visuals, the game is pretty tense at times, having you traipse through a bunch of creepy environments, fighting monsters, and trying to stay alive. It's an excellent throwback to one of my favorite genres. If you haven't played this game, I highly recommend you check it out. And there you have it, 15 hidden gems from the past 15 years, each offering something unique and unforgettable. These games may not have been in the spotlight when they launched, but their creativity, charm, and impact have stood the test of time. Now it's your turn. What hidden gems did I miss? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, hit like and of course subscribe. And if you want more of my thoughts, check out my video right here. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.